morning, rubber booters. This is VE3MPC. I'm not sure if Mike's on or it's got his antenna's coated with ice or whatever, but maybe he'll show up. So I've got so far VE3LC, VE3CSH, Gordon. Anybody else wishing to check into the rubber boot net?
VE3MPO, good morning.
KAE.
Okay, got Roger and Alan and Kempville, I think. Anybody else? Right, Steve's in here to give us the weather. VE3RUU, you right there? Yeah, I'll make one last call and then we'll go through this. VE3UUH here for the rubber boot net. Any other further check-ins at this time?
VE3RUU, good morning.
Got you there, Steve. Anyway, we'll go to VE3LC. Norm, how are you this morning?
Oh, I'm all right. I don't know. I've given up with the idea of a palm tree on my front lawn.
Certainly following the trend that it's been since later fall with the temperatures up and down, and like you said, it's raining here. Depending where you are, we're between 0 and 1 already at this time in the morning. So we should hit the projected high of 7 for this area today. But the laneway's got a coating of that crusty snow that you're talking about out there. And I went to do the bird feeders, and boy, you want to be mindful where you're walking because it's pretty slick. As the temperature rises, that should dissipate. Anyway, we'll say good morning to Gordon there, VE3CSH. How's Gordon this morning? And the name here is Bob. I didn't give it, but how are you this morning?
Okay, very fine. Well, I went to a local convenience store to get some newspapers this morning, and it was pretty treacherous, and when I was coming back, it started to rain, so I'm going to see if I can hide indoors for a while. I don't know if you heard it or not, but there was a bad earthquake in the Pacific just south of Alaska, and they've issued 2 Stanley warnings for the BC coast. Go ahead.
You've seen that on the news, and they are telling people to get at least 30 meters above sea level. At least 30 meters. I forget what it was, at 8.2 or something. It was a pretty significant earthquake, and it was very, very top northern BC, like Fort Nelson or higher than BC. But certainly it'll affect northern British Columbia and into Alaska for sure. But I can't remember. Maybe Steve has info on that. I think it was 8.2, but I could be daydreaming. Yeah, so we'll see what Roger has to say. VE3MPO, Roger, good morning. I've got you, Steve. I haven't forgot you.
VE3MPO, well, good morning, Gord, Norm, Steve, you, Bob. I guess Mike must be sleeping this morning or maybe stuck on ice anyhow. Well, I didn't. I left all the snow there last night there, and I know this morning there was a crust on top of the snow. So I'll go and shovel it later. That way the pavement's not going to be too bad. Otherwise, if people removed snow last night, they're like Norm. I guess his driveway is probably a skating rink this morning anyhow. I'm just going to wait. I've been up for a good while there. I guess I listened to the radio, played solitaire, and on this, I was listening on the other frequency. The RAO guy was on there a little while ago, so that's it. Anyhow, back to you, Bob, VE3MPO.
Yeah, Norm here. The tsunami warning has been canceled.
Yeah, thanks for the update there. Yeah, because that was, what time did I see that on TV? About 6:30 or something. So anyway, it's good for those people. Can do without any of that kind of destruction if they can avoid it. That's for sure. VE3, I think it's KAE, Alan, around Kempville. How's everything down that way?
Yes, good morning, Bob, and everyone on net. It's a mess. My dog is giving me dirty looks because she went out back, and I don't think she got any further than the deck, which means I got to take her out fairly soon. For me, I have a new furnace coming today. Yay! So maybe I'll be able to sleep at night. They're supposed to be here at 8:30, and I hope they make it. And other than that, I'm talking to you on my nice, shiny new FTM 3200 that arrived yesterday, and I set it up last night. And I hope it's sounding okay. It's nice to have mic connectors that don't fall apart. So, yeah, the radio's a nice, solid lump. And that's about it for me. Back to you, Bob, VE3UUH, 3 KAE, Allen and Kempville.
Okay, that's one I'm looking at too as well. Does it still have that dreadful, was or whatever heck looks like a telephone connector for a microphone. God, I hate that. Got an older Yaesu radio downstairs, FT840, has a real mic connector on it that plugs in. You can screw it. You can actually do, solder and stuff. You can do. My wife's good at doing these connectors because she's a computer tech, but it's a dreadful way to hook up a microphone. I hate it. Does it have like a real plug-in, or has it got those goofy-looking phone-type plugs on it?
It definitely has the phone-style jack on it. Only one, though. The FT8500 I have has them on both ends, at the mic end and the radio end. It's nice and compact and quick, but I don't think you'd want to pick up the radio by the microphone cord. Probably not a good idea. But the radio is, the functionality is wonderful. So much better than the other one. So I'm quite happy with it, at least for the last 12 hours at any rate.
I talked to a friend of mine in Smith Falls, has one as well, and of course Norm sent me some information about repeaters and a little ditty because I had the wrong number of the radio. I don't know what I was looking at, but anyway. So yeah, that's looking into that one. Yeah, I find with those connectors, everything's ticky-boo until that little tab breaks off. This icon I'm using has it on both ends. Actually, I'm using a computer blue cable for a microphone because, surprisingly as it is, it does exactly the same as the regular cable, curly cable, and with no corrections needed to be made. Everything works as it should with a regular computer setup network cable. So yeah, it's pretty well. But the painful part of that is that the little tabs that hold it in place, once they get, after a while, plugging them in and out, they snap off, and then of course it's time you got to do something because it's talking away and the microphone comes out. Yeah, never was impressed when they went to that kind of connection. VE3RU, Steve, time for a comprehensive weather outlook. Go ahead.
Good morning, Bob, and everyone on the net this morning. And we're currently under freezing rain, which we've had throughout the evening, and significant accumulation out there. The roads are, I guess, slowly improving, but they're still a little bit on the goosey side. And we're currently sitting at a -2 with a wind chill of -3. And we're going to go down in temperature as the morning progresses down to -1. And the freezing rain this morning, switching over to the showers this afternoon, we're looking at the +3. I look for tonight, we're looking at the +2 with a mix of rain and snow. Overnight, we have scattered flurries. We fall down to -11. I look for Wednesday, we're looking at wall-to-wall sunshine at -9, wall-to-wall sunshine on Thursday -11, wall-to-wall sunshine on Friday at -8. Saturday, we got sunshine at +5. Sunday, we got a mix of rain and snow and +3. So the temperature is definitely going to improve once we get through this bit of freezing rain. I'm not too crazy about it. I've got an appointment around noon, so I got to go out driving and stuff. So I'm hoping it's better by then. Back to you, Bob.
Hope I'm able to continue on. It took a significant signal drop to the repeater for me. We'll keep muddling on. Yeah, well, hopefully it clears up a bit. It's mild here. Oh, mild. Well, yeah, it is compared to what. It's funny now on the news. There's -11 a couple of weeks ago. We would have thought that was a heat wave. Now on the news, they're crying about we're all going to freeze to death if it's -7 out. Like I say, 2 weeks ago, we would have thought that was a heat wave.
For sure, Bob. Absolutely. And just on a secondary note regarding the other situation, the tsunami is possibly going to hit Hawaii, but they're not sure yet. The alert is still in effect, but they may cancel the alert on that. And there was a 7.9 quake off the coast of Alaska. Back to you.
Oh, you're getting old. When I remember, I wasn't really old when it happened, but in the 60s when they had that devastating one that really caused a lot of death and destruction in Anchorage. That was in the 60s, and I remember it just like it was yesterday type of thing. Hey, you're starting to pack on the years when those are memories. But then there's lots of people older than us out there. We're just hitting that stride. Not this year, but next year I'll be a bona fide senior citizen. I'll be 64 in February, so one more year to go type of thing. So yeah, well, I'm well preserved from the good life of playing in a rock band in the late '60s through the '70s and into the '80s, early '80s. Yeah, well preserved. This is VE3UUH for the Rubber Boot Net. Any check-ins?
VE3BGO, Brian.
How are you this morning, Brian?
Very good, Bob. Very good. Everything's good here. You mentioned that quake in Anchorage. I think it was '64, roughly. And I remember my uncle took Life magazine. I remember the pictures of that. I still remember I think it was the cover picture. And it was a picture of a house, and it was just hard to describe it now. It's so long ago, but in my mind, it just kind of was ripped from the foundation and sitting on an angle. And I'd never seen anything like that before as a kid in pictures, and always stuck in my mind. VE3BGO, back to you, Bob.
That's the exact picture I have in my mind right now. That one that you're talking about, of course, was black and white, but you know, that particular building, the main one in the picture, certainly wasn't on the foundation and on an angle, and then a bunch of destruction all around it. There was a big pile of stuff on the news footage of all that stuff. Yeah, that was quite the event. Any further check-ins this morning for the Rubber Boot Net?
V2 Oscar Charlie, Quebec.
Got V2 OCQ, Sean. Well, there must be a whack of accidents by now this morning. You get 3 snowflakes in Ottawa. It's a catastrophe. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. It took me about 45 minutes at 5 o'clock to clear a small, narrow path to the street, about 2 feet wide. No way to get more. There's about 2 or 3 inches of snow capped with ice. So lots of fun to come in the afternoon. Back to net from V2CQ.
You guys traditionally get a little bit more snow, and they were still projecting some, as Steve reported, possibly before the temperature moderates a bit, but they were still calling for some wraparound snow hanging on the valley there, like, you know, the trough that comes down the Ottawa River, Lustville, Constance Bay, that kind of trough that comes into the city. I used to find that interesting when we lived in near Lincoln Fields in a high-rise. You could watch the storms coming down the Ottawa River, and they join up with the storms that would say become across from north of Highway 7, and the two would converge, and you'd be on to an event for sure. Any further check-ins to the Rubber Boot Net? Oh, if I can just hold it for 12 more minutes or so. Lord knows what's coated on my antenna, if anything. V3LC, Norm.
Yeah, very good. Well, as I mentioned, at least I caught it on CBC, that the tsunami warning, at least for BC, has been canceled. Now, I don't know about closer to the epicenter in Alaska, but that's what I caught on CBC there before the net started. It was not a seduction type earthquake. I guess the seduction ones, the plates going one over the other, can cause the greatest amount of risk of tsunami. If it's just a sliding action, I guess, then not so much. Anyway, good on you there, Alan, for the 3200. Well, you're definitely stronger than your portable radio. Less noise, good sounding audio. If you want, after the net, we could try it on V3TWO in the digital mode. I don't know whether you've tried it yet in the digital mode, but we could try that. As to the modular mic connector, well, I've never had any problem with that. And I don't mind it at all. You can always replace the connector. It just takes the right tool and spare connectors, and you can dress the end of the cable, put it into a new connector, do a crimp, and bingo, you're in business. So it's a lot easier to put on one of those connectors than trying to make up broken connections that might be in a more, shall we say, conventional connector, although maybe those old conventional connectors are not so conventional anymore, because most of the radios are going to the modular type, and they're a lot more compact, do not take as much room on the front panel, so the design of the front panel, or where it plugs in, is obviously a lot more compact. It doesn't take up as much real estate, so it makes for a smaller radio package. And the other thing is cheap, really, really cheap. And we use them all the time on telephones and stuff like that, and they stand up reasonably well. Timed out my radio. That's another thing, Alan. I have this, I think, set for 2 minutes, and I just timed out my radio. So there's a timeout timer that you can set in the 3200. And as I was maybe mentioning to you before, I have the ability to program it with a cable. Actually, the cable for programming is the same as the 7800. The programming for channelization through the 3200 is actually through the microphone cable. You remove the microphone and you plug the programming cable into the same 6-pin modular connector that the microphone goes into. Anyway, so much for that. Just one other comment. BGO checked in there, and he had acquired a so-called Wilson key from the Wilson Manufacturing Company of Toronto. I had one just like he picked up. So I sent you that picture there, Brian, and I guess you got it. But it looks very, very similar, if not virtually identical to the one you have, and a very robust straight key indeed. Anyway, let's see now. Back to you there, Bob, VE3LC.
Yeah, my wife mentioned why I experienced difficulties with that R245, I think it is, she said it was every night I have to unplug, or any time that I'm not using the radio, I have to unplug the microphone and put it in a drawer, or I've got a cat that likes to gnaw on everything from knobs, cables, and that kind of thing. So you can figure how many times it's in and out of the radio, at least once every day of the year, probably maybe more at times. So no wonder that little thing snaps off, because if you plugging it in and out 365 times plus, like anything, it's going to wear out. Yeah. What can I say? Do away with the cat. Bought covers from this place in the States, not that I'm advertising for them, to cover my HF radio, my speaker, my linear amplifier. Got homemade covers covers a 2-meter radio and the power supply, and then the rotor control box and the mega tuner I have. Made homemade covers for that, but I got real nice ones that I bought from the States. So it has the logo. Again, not advertising for Yaesu, but it can be whatever radio you have. You can get them custom made, and they're reasonably priced. And I just leave them on there. Great for dust and stuff. Just have to take one of those claws. Not cloth, but a limp sort of brush, and just rub it across. The material picks up any stuff off of it. Easy to clean, looks good, that kind of thing. If you look on my QRZ page, you'll see the covers. This is, VE3CSH, Gordon.
Okay, very fine. I don't have a lot to add. I programmed this bass on with a program called Chirp, and I understand Chirp will program some other radios as well. Maybe some of you are using it for what you're doing. So that's about it, VE3CSH.
Chirp will do the 3200.
I'll be looking forward to ordering that radio. I'll probably get around to it next week. We just got the mother-in-law out, and now I've got to do the room that she was staying in. That the stuff that was in the old sort of futons going out there, and home brewing a Murphy bed. You can buy the hardware for it from Lee Valley, and then buy wood and make one for a fraction of the cost, made of real wood, not that particle board crap that everything's made out of these days. That's the next project. VE3NPO, Roger.
VE3MPC. Well, good morning, guys. Well, I have some of those connected. I don't know what happened there. I guess I got into my other VFO here or whatever. Yeah, I got on some of my radios, two of those 245 RG, and I've never had any trouble with those. And in any case, I guess just watch it. It'll happen tomorrow. Anyhow, I guess in a little while we'll go and shovel the street with the street plow put in front there, and I guess that's going to be heavy snow, and I'd better clear that up if the wife wants to go out shopping. I don't think she's going to go out. Anyhow, have a nice day off. I hope Mike is okay there out in Ernprior, so I guess we'll hear from him maybe later on. Anyhow, have a nice day all. VE3MPC.
Out here, what the plow plowed up has already turned into a puddle of water down at the end of the laneway. It's been drizzling and showery, rainy since 7 o'clock. But like I say, you walk around the side of the house, and it's an experience and a half. Really, really slippery. VE3KAE, Alan.
3i portable.
Give me that call sign again. You caught me off guard. VE3 with the X in it, portable. Go ahead.
This is VE3ITI portable. Up the air.
Hey, Damien, yeah, you're cutting in and out. I don't know if you're on foot going somewhere to the bus place or whatever, but you're cutting in and out really bad, and then the signal's dropping like crazy for me.
Sorry about that, yes. I guess I have some shadowing with all the buses coming back and forth. Am I copying better now?
Less choppy, that's for sure. I've got absolutely no signal strength coming back from the repeater for me. Lord knows what's on my antenna.
Everybody have a wonderful morning. VITI portable.
It's been a while since I heard you, but I don't know how I got XI out of that, but hey, maybe I better get my hearing checked. VE3KAE, Alan, go ahead.
Yes, hi, Bob. I could hear him here in Kempville, and he was breaking up, but I could hear him pretty good here. Yes, thanks, Norm. If you want to switch over to TW after, if you have time, that'd be great. I haven't tried digital, of course. With regard to programming, I put in about 31 frequencies last night, and even named them. I was enjoying the simple programming on this, and I got to say it's wonderful compared to what I was trying to do on the other. If I can understand it, I think most anybody can set these up. So yeah, I think the ergonomics and the way they've organized the software on this one is great. So Bob, back to you. VE3KAE 73s to everyone. Everyone have a great day.
I'll be looking forward to receiving mine. May get around to it, depending on what I have to do today, ordering today. I'll certainly next week for sure. I've got to wait for, dare I say, my pension check, pay a couple of bills, and then order up a radio. So that is next week, one of them anyway. So, yeah, I'll be interested in hearing your experiences. Sounds good so far. My friend in Smith Falls had glowing review and praise for the exact same radio, and you know, he's been at it for a goodly length of time. He's been on the air longer than I've been alive, basically. And he's hard to please. He's a real nitpicker and stuff, so it has to be pretty good. VGO, Brian.
Hello, Bob. Yes, I did get Norm, I did get your message, your reply, thank you. Interesting you had the same one. So I guess they were plentiful at one time. And just comment on Alan's radio, it really sounds nice and sounds like a radio to have. So that's it for me. VA3BGO clear.
What's great about it, I mean, even though our prices are higher in Canada, it's now you can get a radio of that quality, digital and analog, of course. For $250 was basically the price of an everyday analog FM radio. That's how much the prices come in line. I remember when it first came out, people were balking at $700 and $800, $600, $700 and $800 for a radio. That kept me from even thinking about it. At $249, yes, it's more expensive than the U.S., but by the time you ship something from there and go through all the hassle, you'd be within about $30 anyways. And I'd rather spend my money in Canada if I can, even if I have to pay a little more. VE2 OCQ, Sean. Had to bump up the power, and I've got the signals dropped off. Give it time to get the crap off the antenna. I think it's got a coating on it. So I'm going to conclude this morning's version of the Rubber Boot Net. Thank everybody that checked in, and be looking forward to hearing from you tomorrow, Alan, after you've done the digital thing, and you can tell me all about it, because I am certainly interested. You get people that have the radio and using it, and rather than read some dumb review on EM where people can't read and write, half of them. Somebody that actually uses the piece of equipment and knows the tiny touch is kind of helpful. So anyway, you take care. And for those that are interested, the HF flux numbers today are 70, 12, 1. Not exactly stellar, but there'll still be stuff on HF. Yesterday was 68, something or other. And we through 2018 is the last of the bottom end of the cycle, and then 2019 will start showing some slow signs of improvement. Not like you'll be jumping on 10 meters in 2019 probably. But anyway, we'll see what's on there in a couple of seconds. This is VE3 UUH returning the repeater back to regular amateur use.